Welcome to part 3 of the Crash Bandicoot 3 commentary, ladies and gentlemen. And we begin Tier 2 with another medieval stage, now in a glorious sunset. Or is it sunrise?
Who cares?
Ted, your response?
Eh. This isn't Nintendo. I don't give a shit.
You know, one of
I
the
guess we
things.
know he's going to be playing the Crash Spyro Game Boy Advance games.
Can we not?
Hey, you wanted to.
No, I didn't. No, I
You want
never.
you want Nintendo, you're getting it on Nintendo.
I actually have played not the Crash, but the Spyro GBA
Man.
games, and oh god, they're terrible.
The thing about those games, the blandest side-scroller platformers you will ever find.
Well, the Spyro ones are isometric, and they just.
oh god,
fuck
that's-
any game in that.
That's even worse.
There were, oddly enough, there were Crash and Spyro crossover games on the GBA, but they weren't like platformers. They were weird minigame collection things. So it was a prediction of Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
Who Crash and Spyro at the Rio Olympics? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What's up with the blinking boxes?
Those are new types of crates in Crash Bandicoot 3. Pretty much, they will flicker between different items, but the longer you wait, the faster they'll flicker, and if you wait too long, they'll transform into steel crates, and you can't break them at all.
Which means, yeah, you can't break them at all, and that means you can't get the gem. So, yeah, basically, you have to be fast at breaking them, but if you also time it well, you can get some better power-ups. Extra lives and stuff.
Thankfully, they're not something that span throughout the game.
Yeah,
they're mostly relegated to the medieval levels.
Yeah, mostly. Although,
I imagine that the whole. I imagine that the gimmick is that you want to get the best thing, but you also can't be too picky because otherwise you get nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
and you lose the.
Yeah, but this game just throws lives at you, so what is a difference?
Yeah. But the timing isn't terribly precise for the slot machine boxes either, so you can usually get some good stuff if you take a second, watch the box, and then go for it.
Alright.
Now,
Well, Lewis, did you want to go back to your original thing that you want to talk about?
I was about to say at the beginning of this level, way at the beginning, and now here we are at the end, which is topical because I was about to say one of the things that I miss about Crash 2 is the warp platforms at the beginning and end of the levels. Instead, we just get these random ass bubbles, and
They're time warps.
Yeah, it just gave me a sense of beginning and closure to the level that the random time warp bubble just doesn't. I also liked the warp in animation.
Do they do the same thing? Do they do the same thing in terms of like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, jump on the platform, you're at the end of the level. It was, the warp platforms in Crash 2 were an extension of the warp platforms in Crash 1. But in Crash 1, the warp platforms only appeared, I think, at the end of the level. And they were much, much smaller. And they didn't, take up entire rooms,
Oh, John, look, they brought Agabra back for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, No. We've already been there like 6 times. I don't care anymore. Well, no, actually, I
What,
get
you
the
want
only
more
thing.
Agrabah? Agrabah ho!
The only thing that I think they haven't recovered is like the Return of the
No.
was it the Prince of Thieves or something like that? The third movie.
Yeah.
King of Thieves, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, the King of Thieves. I was gonna say Return of the King. I was like, that's Lord of the Rings, you dumbass.
yeah, I think in the first one,
Knowing Disney at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to buy it.
I think in Kingdom Hearts 1 they had the Cave of Wonders, and Kingdom Hearts 2 they had Return of Jafar, so they'll probably do the King of Thieves. Not that I particularly care about that movie. The only nice thing about it was that Robin Williams was back as the genie, and the giant golden hand platform looked kind of cool because it was CG. Now this is
cool,
actually
I suppose.
this is actually a clever use of the slot machine box. Basically, you have to get the TNT. You have to jump on the TNT specifically, which is much more difficult to time than just spinning it. Well, I suppose you could spin it if you had a mask, which John did.
If you hate yourself.
If you had a mask and didn't mind taking a hit, you could spin it. Basically, you had to blow up the TNT to hit
Crash is good at many things. Jumping, spinning, but I wouldn't recommend him for bomb disposal.
Yeah. You have to get the TNT box. And if you get the TNT box, it triggers an exclamation point. Wow, you went to the trouble of, timing the jump on the TNT box, but then you just walk face first into a sword. Sure, why not? If you get
Is that a yellow gem I spotted in the distance?
How good is this? How good is this game about having to backtrack for specific things? Like how many levels?
All right. This game at one point gets about as bad as Cold Hard Crash and Crash 2.
Yeah.
We're not seeing it for a little bit. But Crash 3 is still pretty fucking guilty about that.
Oh, so Crash drives a motorcycle. It's fine. Shadow drives a motorcycle. Oh no, it ruins the franchise. Okay,
well,
yeah, whatever.
Shadow can run faster than any motorcycle.
A Shadow can run faster than a motorcycle.
Well, here's the thing, okay? This motorcycle controls like ass, but Shadow somehow still managed to pull off motorcycles worse. In fact, I'm pretty sure the only game with a motorcycle that's worse than Shadow the Hedgehog is Ride to Hell Retribution. Because I've never played anything worse.
Oh, come on.
That's
That's the game you reach into the well when you need to think of a game that just immediately sucks. That's not fair.
No, I'm talking specifically.
Well, there's a lot of games you can pull.
No. I'm not
though.
talking about sucky games. I'm talking specifically about motorcycle physics and control. Because Shadow the Hedgehog, on the rare occasion you actually use the motorcycle, which you never have to do, that motorcycle is an abomination, okay? The way it handles is... you have to play it to believe it, okay? I would rank the control of Shadow the Hedgehog's motorcycle with the general platforming control of Bubsy 3D in terms of how stiff and hard to maneuver the guy is. So, yeah.
Dingo Dial's the name, and Uka and Cortex.
Yeah, but is it worse than just Shadow's normal control? Because that's plenty slippery on its own.
Yeah, but at least you can control where you're going.
When it comes to every gimmick that Crash 3 brought into the game, it is the motorcycle level that I often hear people complain about the most. And I agree, like, it's not the best handled gimmick.
Yeah, but you want to know the real irony? People complain the most about the vehicle gimmicks that are always put on the fucking cover. And you'd think those would be the coolest ones because they're on the cover, It's like, oh, this is a cool game-specific gimmick that they're going to put a lot of work into making it cool and badass because jetpack in space, that's cool. Motorcycle and biker and sunglasses look, leather jacket, badass. But you know what? Both cases, they control like ass. Not badass, just ass.
Or you can go the other way and say, wow, Crash on a bike is badass, but these bike levels are bad.
Ass.
Bad and ass.
They're bad and ass.
They're bad and they're ass.
Now, you gotta say ass that specific elongated way that the AVGN always does. Ass! Just hold the ass. From the bottom of your throat now. Speaking of, I just watched the AVGN
Are we gonna start
movie.
talking about...
Huh? You gonna start?
I need to watch the AVGN movie.
It's good.
I've been playing a lot of the AVGN Adventures game though because the sequel comes out soon.
The AVGN movie is pretty damn good. Toward the end, it gets really heavy on shitty After Effects stuff, like intentionally so. But it's a fun thing to watch from beginning to end, which is impressive for the runtime. It's a pretty lengthy movie. I was surprised.
Well, it better be since he worked on it for like 3 years.
This is a weird one-off thing. You see this door? It's a purple gem door. Never again and never before in the series is there ever a colored gem door. So why the hell?
Yeah, it would make you think you would think that they would just make that pit a little longer and just make you ride a purple gem platform.
Yeah.
But no, they decided to go a door.
Yeah, it's really
Very
strange.
odd.
But you can
Yeah.
still clip through and get some boxes.
Yeah, you can break some boxes thanks to the super belly flop, but that's not all the box. There's more boxes in that alternate pathway.
Yeah.
So you can't go and cheese through the door. I wish.
Yeah.
But
I'm
no,
not
you
sure
can't.
if you can.
So unfortunately, this requires a second visit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can do the thing that you could do in that one instance in Crash 2 where you could actually enter an area that you were only supposed to enter under certain circumstances from the back. No, in fact, no, I'm not thinking of Crash 2. I'm thinking of Toxic Waste from Crash 1, I think, where there was a gem pathway, but you could get onto the gem pathway from the rear and get all the way to the front of the gem pathway.
You're thinking of. That is Cortex Power.
Oh yeah, Cortex Power. Yeah, one of the two. Yeah, Cortex Power. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just there's nothing stopping you. The gem is there if you want it, but it's actually, less time consuming to jitter your way in from behind and break all the boxes that way. One of the things I will commend this game for, though, is that, Crash games from the first game to the third game, they repeat level themes a lot, but what Crash 3 does to differentiate them is it changes the time of day a lot, which you wouldn't think would make a difference, but, that atmospheric change actually does give each, well, in this case, Great Wall of China level, it gives it each its own identity. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, even though thematically nothing's really changed, but
Yeah.
it does enough.
Yeah.
For a PlayStation 1 game, I will say the lighting is very good. There's detailed shadows for everything. The model, the textures on the ground look.
Oh
good.
man.
This is very impressive. It's on par with some N64 games. It definitely runs a lot smoother than a lot of N64 games too.
You bring that up for
that's
the
a plus.
PlayStation 1, and I just remember how old I am. That I actually remember a time when shadows that are shaped more like more like the object that shadows that aren't just circles was a thing. It was an achievement. I also remember watching PlayStation Underground video discs of the old Tomb Raider games, and them talking about how many polygons were in Lara's model, improving from game to game, and that was a thing. Now it's like you start talking about the actual polygon count of a character model, and people are just like, "Fuck you, who cares?"
Yeah. No, people aren't talking polygons, they're talking shaders.
Yeah, they're talking
And what
shaders
engine
and all
it's
that.
being
Yeah,
run
nobody talks about the number of polygons anymore because it's up in the hundreds of thousands and
I
millions.
lost count after 3.
Ah, yes.
All right,
Dingo
we got our
Dial.
second boss.
Yeah.
Dingo Dial.
Yeah. One of the things that actually puts me off about Crash 3 is that there aren't as many, animal bosses as there were in the previous games. Especially Crash 1, but also Crash 2, because Crash 2...
Yeah, because we just got...
Yeah,
we got Tiny, who's returning from Crash 2.
Yeah.
And we got... our only original animal villain is Dingo Dial.
Yeah. Who is an asshole, by the way. But I see you're cheesing past him pretty hard. Yeah.
Spin jump, hooray!
Okay, the proper way to beat this guy is to let him blast open his own barriers and then run in. But John is doing the cheese-tastic way of jumping over the walls through the gaps.
Yeah, so just a little more in depth, Dingo Dial will shoot fireballs up into the sky, and they land on your precise location. After a while, he will switch to his single burst action flamethrower gun. That breaks the crystal barrier.
Okay, if you're going to do this the proper way, there is something you need to know about Dingo Dial. Eventually, when he's shooting fireballs into the sky and they're dropping down on you, they will start to appear in front of the direction you're running, which is where you'll probably get tripped up as a 10-year-old.
I would say just hug the crystal walls while you're running around in circles, and you'll always outrun the fireballs.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to use the flamethrower. You wait for you to use the flamethrower to break the crystal barriers, and then you use the opening to go and attack them upright. What I did there, the cheese him, was the extended jump. It basically it's a glitch maneuver where if you do a slide jump and then as you're ascending, you hit the spin button, Crash will gain extra height that he's not supposed to get, and that's just high enough for you to jump over the crystal barriers and jump on Dingo Dial early enough.
Yeah.
The power-up, did you get a double jump?
Yep, we got a double jump, which I'll explain in full detail beginning next part, because I love it and hate it at the same goddamn time.
It's not as good as the double jumps we've been spoiled with today, I'll say that.
Absolutely.